Let me get this straight. You think the Joker is an elite roller coaster?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
I'm gonna rank every coaster and give them a review. Every drop and every hill, every launch and every loop. Rate it 1 to 10 and then we'll do it all again. Gonna rank and review every coaster.
The shirt is a little small on me. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mario. This is a channel all about amusement park type stuff, but mostly coasters. And today in my never-ending journey to rank and review every single coaster I have ever been on, we're going to be talking about Joker at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. To fully appreciate Joker, we should first look at Roar. Roar was a wooden coaster that operated at Discovery Kingdom from 1999 to 2015. Following its closure, world-renowned coaster manufacturer Rocky Mountain Construction would completely transform the ride. RMC is of course best known for their conversions of defunct wooden coasters, where they completely redesign the layout and install their incredible iBox steel track. Now, while this was the 7th iBox conversion completed by RMC, it was, to a certain extent, the first of its kind. Let me explain. Roar was manufactured by Great Coasters International, and rides designed by GCI typically offer a twister layout. This means they consist of many twists and turns as opposed to focusing on hills and drops like other coasters do. Prior to this coaster, RMC had never converted a GCI, so as a result, Joker would be a fairly unique coaster. While many of the RMCs before it focused on aggressive hills and airtime, Joker would feature unique inversions, a plethora of direction changes, and a great variety of airtime and hang time. And I definitely see its uniqueness as a benefit, even if Joker may not be as incredible as its RMC contemporaries. Oh, and it also has that awesome dual-colored track with the separate rail colors. I think that's just so cool. So, in 2016, mere months after the closure of Roar, Discovery Kingdom would open the Joker. Having ridden both Roar and Joker, I can confidently say that Joker's ride experience surpasses that of Roar, thanks to a superior level of out-of-control excitement and a much smoother ride. And to dive a little deeper into that, let's take a closer look at Joker's ride experience. Boarding Joker can be quite the experience in and of itself. First of all, let me just say that I love the way that the 3D cartoonish lead car looks. I think that is a hit, but unfortunately, like most RMC trains, these are quite restrictive. The restraints are not very accommodating for larger riders, so just be prepared for that and definitely consider trying the test seat prior to waiting in the full line. The restraint system consists of a seatbelt and a lap bar, and before you can pull down that lap bar, a ride attendant has to check your seatbelt. If even one person preemptively pulls down that lap bar, the whole restraint checking cycle essentially starts over, so this can definitely slow down the ride's operations and increase your wait time. And speaking of increased wait times, Joker often operates with just one train instead of two, so be prepared to wait for this coaster. But yada yada, complaints aside, let's hop on this ride and take a look at the layout. Joker starts off by dispatching out of the station into an awesome pre-lift section, and I definitely think this is the best pre-lift of any RMC. It's nice and varied with turns causing some lateral forces, and I feel like you hit the hills with enough speed to actually give you a mild floating sensation. This is such a fun little way to start the ride, and it is so much better than just plain straight track and normal turns up to the lift. Then you head up into your lift, which is a great place to talk about Joker's stats. It has a height of 100 feet, a top speed of 53 miles per hour, although this is definitely quite variable. Depending on a bunch of different factors, this ride can run significantly faster or slower, which really isn't a bad thing though. On faster rides, the airtime and laterals are much more aggressive, and on slower rides, the hang time is more drawn out. so that's really fun too. And speaking of hang time, this coaster has 3 wonderful inversions, a track length of 3,200 feet, and a ride duration of 1 minute from the end of the lift hill to the beginning of the final brakes, and including the roughly 13 seconds of pre-lift. Once at the top of the coaster, you will go down the 78-degree drop, but on the ride, this drop feels nearly vertical. The back of the train is definitely the place to experience this drop, as the momentum of the train pulling you over the top of the lift provides an amazing stomach-dropping sensation with great ejector airtime. The front is still fun, however. You experience long floater airtime as you dangle over the edge before finally accelerating. All rows experience strong lateral G-forces from the twist of this drop, so you will be thrown out of your seat while also being thrown sideways. This is an amazing first drop. The turn that follows provides mild positive G-forces pushing you down, before heading into the ride's incredible step-up underflip. This element whips you around while traveling upward, and then dangles you upside down while turning to the left. The front of the train experiences more laterals than the back of the train, and the back of the train will get more float and hang time. You then go through a turn that is quite comparable to the first, which gets you to the 0G stall. And this is one of my favorite elements. You get twisted and held upside down, causing you to weightlessly float out of your seat for several seconds. You also experience good laterals entering and exiting this inversion, as well as great visuals. The proximity of the wooden beams and planks to your head is exciting and quite scary, especially for first-time riders. The off-axis airtime hill that follows provides a quick pop of airtime that varies quite a bit depending on where you are seated. Towards the front of the train, the airtime is much stronger, as you traverse the element with more speed than the back does. If you are seated on the right side of the train, your experience will also be better. The elevation change is more pronounced on this green rail, so you will experience much more prolonged airtime. In every seat, however, you experience some fun laterals as the hill tilts you to the left. This is definitely a funky element and another highlight of the coaster. Joker then heads into a small overbanked turn, giving some nice sideways floater airtime to those seated on the left side of the train. Everyone will get some decent airtime going down the hill that follows, but the back will get it a little bit stronger. This definitely isn't the best airtime moment on the ride by any means, but it's valuable in maintaining the ride's non-stop pacing. You're then treated to a second fun outer banked hill, where this time the left side of the train will get the stronger airtime. This hill once again provides good laterals, and a fun, awkward feeling as you seem to lean in an unnatural direction. You also get more fun visuals with a head chopper from the track and supports above. You then turn around 180 degrees with an overbanked turn, and this is one of the few parts of the ride that doesn't do all that much. But that being said, it continues the enjoyable trend of consistently changing the direction that you are heading on the ride. Then you head into a double camelback, and while this does provide excellent ejector airtime, it can be a little awkward. The front of the train navigates this element a little more naturally than the back does. Heading into the first half of this element, you aggressively get shot out of your seat, and you travel the second half a bit slower, resulting in less aggressive ejector airtime. In the back of the train, you awkwardly slow down at the apex of the first half, causing you to sort of lunge forward in your seat, which is a little unnatural feeling in a not so great way. The second half is much better as you are pulled over the drop, giving you some fantastic ejector airtime. After a couple of non-offensive turns that are definitely more enjoyable when the ride is running fast, you come upon Joker's 0G roll. This is another phenomenal hang time moment as you fluidly float through a 360-degree flip. This inversion is very whippy when the ride is running fast, and very trippy and sustained if the ride is running slow. The following low to the ground turn makes you feel like you are going to be thrown into the ground, which is quite fun, even though the turn itself is not particularly forceful. Next, you hit your first and only conventional airtime hill. And yet again, it depends on how fast Joker is running, but this is oftentimes the strongest and most sustained airtime moment. Which it's pretty wild that it comes at the end of the ride, but I think it's super fun that Joker saves its best for last. Every row gets tossed out of their seat for over a second before heading up into the final brake run. And even this is a great element, as you get one final pop of ejector airtime and a brutal jolt of laterals as you traverse an unbanked turn into the brakes. So I mean, as you can clearly tell, Joker takes advantage of its entire ride duration, all of its track length. It's almost constantly doing something. It's just a phenomenally funky coaster that is so smooth, yet still completely out of control. So what would I rate it? 9 out of 10. I think the only shortcoming is that it could be a bit more aggressive. It doesn't feel super fast the whole way through. I mean, it is relatively small scale, so that makes sense, but it does deliver on just about everything else. As far as where it ranks, amongst the 272 coasters that I have been on so far, Joker sits at number 22. Which is super high up. It's in the top 10%. And I definitely think it deserves to be there. But let me know if you guys think Joker is as good as I do in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. And make sure to tune in next time where I'll be talking about